We're joined now in studio by members of the St. Regis Mohawk Tribal Council to discuss 2024 just a little bit more in depth. And joining us is Chief Beverly Cook. Welcome to studio, Bev.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. So when we look at 2024, what were some of the more significant moments that stand out for you?
Well, I think for myself and for Tribal Council was the signing of the land claim settlement, which doesn't mean that it's passed through all of the steps that it needs to go through, but I think it was a good decision by Tribal Council to move that forward after 4 decades of deep thought and critical thinking on behalf of the prior councils. I think that it was the best thing that we could do for everybody's benefit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it seemed like it was the larger matter in the community, and that something that will have a lasting impact here in Akwesasne.
Yes. Our thought always was for getting land back, but more so to clear title to thousands of acres of land for community members, for Mohawk landowners. So I think that you can't go wrong in getting it back.
Right. I know that there was a lot of mixed emotions for sure around the land claim, and a lot of collaboration to accomplish something of like this. But that's not new to Tribal Council in terms of collaborations. When you look at how you collaborate with other organizations, what are some of the ways that you've done that this year?
We attended the Indigenous Nations Summit in Albany with the governor, and it was the first one that had been held ever. And there were other nations there, and it gave us direct access to many of the commissioners and many of the agencies that operate under the state. It led to visits by the commissioners to Akwesasne. And I think there's nothing that really affects them more. We can talk to them till we're blue in the face, but until you're here and they see the people and they see the accomplishments and what we're capable of as a community, I think we really make big strides on the community's behalf. So we met with the commissioner of the Department of Health, who did a big tour, went to health services and the Mohawk school, and it was quite an extensive tour that he made with which familiarized him with the people and our needs. Then we had Oasis, which is the Office of Alcohol and Substance Abuse commissioner, come, and she struck up a relationship with Mike Cook, our health director, in order to improve things for Partridge House. The commissioner of the Office of Mental Health also came. So, and those are areas where the need is critical, I think, in our community, and we often focus on all of the accomplishments that we've made and the infrastructure that we've made, but the people and the families and the children themselves still need a lot of attention, and sometimes we forget about that. So we also met with several times have met with the director or the commissioner of the Department of Education, and I think Sub-Chief Jacobs has the closest interactions with the department in our attempts to get a new Mohawk school in a new location where it's not going to get flooded out. And with climate change, there are some things that we really need to pay attention to, and the health of our kids while they're in school all day long is one of them.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of the Mohawk school, and I know that Tribal Council has a number of priorities that they're always looking at from the community level, but this year, how did Tribal Council work to promote the Mohawk language and culture?
first of all, we committed $2 million to the Akwesasne Freedom School for the new school, so that, again, our children are in a building that's healthy for them and for the teachers and parents. You know, back when it started 40 some years ago, it was decent and it was appropriate, but it's aged over 4 decades as well. So they never meant to keep the children there. And so moving them out to a better facility is going to be a great accomplishment. So supporting the efforts of the Freedom School and the parents to continue the language and culture is really important. And we've also contributed and supported the Ganyakeha language program, which is a 2-year immersion program that is incredible in that the speakers that come out of there are now working inside of the community, in the schools and other areas, perpetuating the resurgence of the language. And I think that Akwesasne is one of the, maybe aside from Ganawage, one of the communities that is really putting forward great effort and able to
develop the speakers. Oh yeah, for sure. That program definitely has produced a number of speakers over the years. But I only ask that, of course, because I sat with council for over a year, but also just being a journalist here in the community and attending meetings, you hear this question often posed to council, like, what about the Mohawk language and culture, and you guys can do better, or what have you done? And I wanted to, give that opportunity to express, the initiatives that council has, taken on and helping to promote the language and culture.
Yeah. We also, I don't know, maybe people also don't realize that our traditional support workers that work out of the Indian Child Welfare Act office, that wasn't a thing, until it was made a thing, that was an important piece to have those workers there. And also the traditional medicine providers that we have at the Indian Health Service, they've been there from decades as well. And that came out of a grant from New York State. Yeah. And it's something that has just continued. And they see people, they refer them out to other traditional healers. Yeah. We also support the Heal Lodge. So I think that our reach into the community in terms of culture and healing and recovery and language is important. And I think relating it to all of the harm that was done over the centuries to our people and trying to build back, for our people to recover from the harm, but also to recover from the losses that were suffered, which was connection to identity, language, and so on, is part of our purpose. I think.
Yeah. And when you're looking at setting priorities, again, I mentioned earlier that there's a number of bigger priorities that council deals with. What would you say are the big ones going into 2025?
Well, our concern and our duty to protect the environment is always high on the list. That we have an excellent environmental division with some really brilliant people in that program who continually monitor the environment. So that's one of them. I think that addressing adversity in our community is important, and how that translates into other behaviors in the community, but also even in the workplace, how we treat each other, how we speak to one another is really important. And I think that hopefully it'll be noticed. There's going to be additional efforts made to try to help people through those difficult times and be able to be more aware, self-aware with each other. So that's always been a priority of mine. We mentioned the education. We've In this past year, we created 2 scholarship programs, one for nursing, the Teresa Gardner Memorial, and also the Minerva White Scholarship.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, for postgraduate work,
Yeah.
because it's something that we really need. And, you know, the community is conscious of particular needs. You know, as the community ages, they're concerned and worried. And long-term care is always a concern. And a dialysis unit is another concern. And all of these additional worries that our elders have require trained personnel to carry out those duties. And so we need nurses, and we need administrators, and we need legal support. So the scholarships are intended to help our community members reach those levels of expertise and education to be able to help our people. And we also committed to a pension program for our police department. I think that the amount of commitment and dedication that it takes to stay in that job and to encounter the community and non-community members that come through here and to keep our community safe is sometimes underestimated. And one time, a couple years ago, I did a ride-along with the police department, and it really struck me how lucky our community is. And going through by the houses in the middle of the night, and these law enforcement officers are out there cruising around, watching, being alert, and it was just really amazing. And I wish that people would think about that sometimes, about how lucky they are and how safe and protected they are to the best of their ability. You know, getting a pension program for them to encourage them to stay with the department, to encourage them to, continue to work with the community really meant a lot to us, to be able to give them that support and to let them know that we really appreciate. And having worked as a EMT myself for many years, I know what it is that they come upon. And it can be really, really devastating and difficult to come back from. Yeah.
Like I said, always inspiring words. But thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you a happy new year, and we look forward to working with Tribal Council in 2025 and having you guys back in studio to share with us all that's happening here in Akwesasne.
Yeah, thank you.